Hello everybody, I'm Joel. We are Silver Arrow Cars and I'm here with our 2020 Ferrari Portofino. This is finished in Rosso Mugello over a Bordeaux leather interior, two-tone leather interior. You have black upper doors or Nero, upper doors and upper dash, and center console, and then Bordeaux everywhere else. This Rosso Mugello is a beautiful color. It is nowhere near as bright red as Rosso Corsa, which is the pretty classic Ferrari red that we're all used to. This is more of a Bordeaux or maroon without metallic in it, which I am actually a pretty big fan of. I'm not huge on red cars, but maybe it's my age, I don't know. But I really like this red color, and I do quite like it with the Bordeaux interior. That red interior is much different than we see quite often in newer 911s, Porsche product, and a lot of other cars. So it's more subtle on the interior and nicely accented with that black. The Portofino is it's quite an impressive car. This, of course, is a later replacement for the Ferrari California. Then it was the California T when they moved to turbos. And then this was an all-new platform that they developed alongside with the Ferrari Roma, which is a fixed-head coupe. So this is a convertible hardtop. It is all Ferrari. It has a lot of emotion and performance attributes that I can connect when I was driving it to a 458. I would say it feels very different than a California. But tons and tons of power. It's a 3.9 liter V8 twin turbo that generates just shy of 600 horsepower. It has the shape and the aesthetic of an F12 or an 812, almost a shooting brake, not quite. It's a GT car. It's got a lot of the, I think, positive attributes of those GT cars that I just referenced, there's more room in the cabin. It is technically a 2+2, so there is two small seats behind the driver and the passenger. There's more room and there's more width across it. Getting into the car is certainly easier than getting down into any of those mid-engine coupes from Ferrari or whoever, McLaren, whatever you want to compare it to, Lamborghini. Just a really impressive car. I certainly wasn't expecting what I got when I got in the car. One, it sounds phenomenal, way better than the California. It is very impressive, and if you want it to, it sounds very aggressive, like a lot of people are looking for in AMG product and GT cars from Porsche and or mostly Ferraris. So sounds phenomenal, has tons of power. It does have that 7-speed dual clutch transmission that you shift with column mounted paddles, not steering wheel mounted paddles, which I like the most versus the steering wheel mounted paddles. The aesthetic, it does have that F12 look to it. I think the front end of these is gorgeous. Nice big air vents on the hood that gives some styling and some contour to the hood. And then that continues down the body line with these cutouts in the front fenders that carries that line along the door with the classic Ferrari door handles. Very cool that it's a car that is certainly an all year round car. We're here on the West Coast where we get pretty mild winters. It's basically rain is what we have to deal with, but anywhere along the West Coast or anywhere really, but a rear wheel drive car, true sports car in that regard. It's got a decent sized trunk for putting in your carry-ons or shopping bags or whatever it is. The convertible hardtop, I think, is a fantastic feature for any car. I think it's a big plus. I think it was a big plus for Mercedes with their SL product for a number of years. And in my mind, the California, then California T, and now the Portofino is a big competitor in some ways to the Mercedes-Benz SL, except for the fact that this is better. There's just more performance. To me, there's more sports car in it, even if you're comparing it to an AMG product in the SL convertible hardtops. It is just absolutely all fun to drive, super comfortable. And in these newer Ferrari products, the large touchscreen that includes Apple CarPlay is just a nice thing to now have, and have that modern amenity, as well as the reverse camera. It's got a forward-facing camera as well, for a lot of those safety features. But let's drop the top right now, and we'll show you how that works, and then show you the car and the lines with the top down. Then we'll get into the interior, show you around the car, show you some great lines on it, and then we'll wrap it up. So now you've seen the top go down, and we'll get into the interior in a minute, but in my opinion, really great lines. They've designed in these humps that come across the back of the trunk lid and the rear tonneau, and then you'll see these two fairly small, but two seats with seat belts and such in the back here. So not a ton of room in the rear seats, but enough that if you had a small child and you're moving the seats forward, you would have room. Probably more likely somewhere that you're gonna put your bag or shopping bags in the back, but in a pinch with those front seats forward, there is those two rear seats. Less room than a 911, but nonetheless that they are actually there. These are full electric seats, as I said, finished in Bordeaux with the Prancing Horse logo on the headrest, as well as in the center of the rear tonneau. These are heated seats as well, that is controlled through your climate control screen, or the main screen that has climate control built into it. I was driving on a very chilly day with the top down, and these seats absolutely pump the heat into you. And on top of that, these, I would say, like race exhaust inspired vents on the front of the dash. These things should be probably in a topless Jeep, because they pump out the heat as little jets. So quite warm when you have the top down, even on a cool night. The steering wheel, very similar to the steering wheels you'll see in the 458s and the 488s. Very similar shape, F1 inspired. Everything is center mounted on that steering wheel, as it was not back in the California days. So you've got your mode selector, comfort mode, sport mode, or track, or everything off mode, where if you wanted to break loose the car, you could. That is on the steering wheel. Your signal lights, you'll see those on the steering wheel. And then, as I said, your paddle shifters are mounted off of the steering column. Windshield wipers and headlights, those are both controlled from your steering wheel. The center of your cluster is your tachometer. And then to the left and right, you've got your digital readout screens. Those are both customizable in the information that they provide for the driver. But you'll have things like your boost gauge, or engine temperature, media, and so on and so forth. In the center stack, you'll see your buttons that control your transmissions. The big 10-inch screen in the center, that's got everything from climate control to your entertainment, Apple CarPlay, which I would say these days is a big staple of what everybody's looking for. Underneath that, you have some more controls for climate, as well as the jog dial for media selection. So a very well and very nicely appointed interior. Very comfortable to sit in, lots of space, and a real pleasure as you're cruising down the road. The Portofino definitely sits in a class somewhat like the F12 and the 812 did, but it's a little higher off the ground, easier to get in and out of the car, as compared to, say, some of the mid-engine cars. They have a softer riding suspension than some of the mid-engine cars as well, which makes them more in that class of the SL cars. But as I was saying, this rides extremely well, but has massive performance, sounds phenomenal. And with that 7-speed dual clutch transmission, if you want to put it into sport mode and really give it your all, it is absolutely a blast. And I would say a major consideration if you're looking at something like a 911 Turbo S or Turbo Cab, I would really steer someone towards trying one of these cars. I didn't mention these cars do come with a 7-year included maintenance program from Ferrari. So when your maintenance is due, you just take it to Ferrari and that's all prepaid and included in the price of the car. As almost all Ferraris do, carbon ceramic brakes front and rear, 20-inch wheels sitting on Pirellis all the way around. And when you come around to the back, the last part that we haven't talked about, I think you really do see that inspiration from the F12. Massive exhaust pipes and quad exhaust pipes out the back, really cool rear valance, and then those 2 circular big taillights in the back, a very muscular and aggressive looking rear end on this prancing horse. I'm sure there's going to be questions that you have, so please contact us. I'm Joel. You can contact us at silveraerocars.com on the internet. Pick up the phone, Google us. We're very easy to find. Give us a call and contact us any way you'd like if you have any more questions about the car. This car is sitting in our Blaine, Washington warehouse. So it's sitting in the United States. It is sitting on an Ohio title. And that is all you need to know. It is available, it is ready to go. We can deliver this anywhere in the United States or into Canada, it doesn't matter. But I was extremely surprised and extremely pleasantly surprised in everything about this car. I expected before getting behind the wheel that I was going to experience something more in the Ferrari California ballpark, which is still a great car, don't get me wrong, but this is a completely different level and a much better car, and is everything you want in a performance sports car. And I mean into the levels of Turbo S 911s, but with a different feel, a much different look, a convertible hardtop, looks like a coupe when the roof is up. It is a Ferrari through and through. It sounds amazing, extremely comfortable interior that's very well appointed with that classic Ferrari and Italian leather, carbon ceramic brakes, LED headlights, CarPlay, all the rest. So quite a magnificent car. I hope you love it as much as I did, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found this extremely helpful. So please get in contact and hopefully to talk to you soon.